Hello. Today I'm talking with Ellen Macks from Ella's Flats. Ellen, thank you so much for joining us.
My great pleasure.
So tell me, what is Ella's Flats?
Ella's Flats are an all-seed cracker. They're absolutely delicious. They're much more than just a cracker. They're made with just seeds and spices, no fillers, no added oils or starches or anything like that. And they're a large cracker that you really eat as a bread replacement or a snack, starting first thing in the morning as a breakfast food, and then right on through the day for lunch, snacks, charcuterie boards, hors d'oeuvres. And I actually love having them with chocolate on top in the evening for dessert. They're
Wow.
full of protein and fiber, and they're absolutely delicious.
So now you have to tell me the story. So you're the founder and owner of the company, correct?
That's right. Yes.
Okay. And take me on the journey. How did it start?
Well, it's really been quite a journey, and thank you for this. Back in, just to go back a little bit as far as the journey goes, I got my MBA 100 years ago, back when to be on a computer, you had to be doing little cards and a computer in the basement of the school. Fast forward, and in 2015, my husband happened to be visiting acquaintances of ours, and our friend made him this hand broken seed cracker for breakfast. And he went crazy and said, "Please, will you send this recipe to my wife?" Which she did that day. And I was back home alone. And I immediately made the recipe. And literally, as it was coming out of the oven, I said to myself, "That's it. Everyone needs this. I'm going into business."
Oh my goodness.
My heart had always been open to something coming my way as far as a business. And I've always loved food. I really care about healthy food. I really care about my own health and staying in my genes. And I knew that it's a plant-based whole food. There's nothing processed. And so I thought everyone needs this. And I began right then and there, November of 2015, trying to figure out how was I going to scale this, who was going to make it, what did I need to do as far legally, et cetera, researching different ingredients. And as time went on, about a year later, I found the most fabulous artisanal baker in Florida. I wanted it to be a Florida product. And he begrudgingly at first, hesitantly at first, helped me to make this a commercial product. And he and I have hand in hand to this day built this product into a national brand. And we now have 7 flavors, 2 different varieties. We have a cracker variety and then a brand new mini variety, which are just phenomenal. And this is this light, crispy, crunchy, satisfying, wonderful snack and wonderful bread replacement that is truly life-changing. Our customers tell us they're obsessed. It's life-changing. It becomes a pantry staple in someone's home as soon as they have it. And as some friends have said to me, they're like, "Oh my goodness, don't run out of your Ella's Flats," because it really becomes part of your day. And we have flavors, everything from our very basic sesame and pumpkin seed flavors into the more seasoned. We have a caraway rye, which are just out of this world. And then we have our everything flavor, which is our top seller. And we have our spicy flavor. And now we've come out with a sweet flavor in a mini version. So that's really the bottom line of the story.
So many of us think we're good cooks and have recipes that we love and sort of fantasize about building a food product business. But how did you really go from the idea to making it happen? And what were you doing at that point in your life in terms of family or job? Tell us a little more about that background.
Okay. So from a family personal standpoint, I have 3 grown children and a soon-to-be son-in-law who was very involved from the get-go. And that's relevant because, first of all these children are in the business with me and helping me. And second of all, and my husband, very much so. And importantly, when we started, it was November. When I got that recipe, it was in November, and they were all coming home from college or their jobs for Thanksgiving. And they were all in and out of the kitchen the entire weekend, eating these over and over. And so I'm watching without saying anything, and I'm seeing that they love them and that they're eating them. So that was really the beginning of the journey. And very importantly, as we started to develop it, my now son-in-law, who was studying consumer packaged goods at a top school in a top program, said to me, "Ellen, don't market this. Don't narrow your market to just a health food. Everyone loves these. Everyone will love these. People looking for healthy attributes will find them, but broaden your market. Be sure to market to your widest market." And we have followed that since the day he said it. And it has been our driving force because everyone loves Ella's Flats. every age, male and female, whether they're health oriented or more gourmet oriented, diabetic, whatever. Everyone loves Ella's Flats. So that was a really guiding factor. So I had worked, like I said, in my family business years before I had my kids. And then I hadn't been working. I had been doing a ton of volunteer work and taking leadership roles in volunteer work. I actually started the first online eBay auction site. I was way before my time on that. So that's what I was doing during that time. And then this recipe came along. How did I go from a recipe in my kitchen to making this commercial product? Sheer will. I'd say the first most important piece is the product itself. The product is the driver. I'm the nurturer. The product is so good that it just needs the stewardship to carry it along. So every single day, I've learned something new. Who are the distributors? Third-party food safety certification, automation of machinery, packaging design, brokerage, sales representation. All of those different subject matters would come along as I needed them, and I would the next day get on a stick and go after them. Supply chain. The larger and larger suppliers reaching out to me as we would do food shows, the networking, the network of people who provide services to us, consultants, people in the industry who offer various services to a consumer packaged product. So it's really been a step-by-step process where every day I seek new knowledge, find it, and the next day try to put it into practice.
You told me when we talked before that when you were first buying ingredients, you were buying them from Amazon. So tell me a little bit about that progression and how you went from really small quantities to what you're doing today.
Well, thank you. And that has been, it's a fun thing for me to think about. So first, I was literally buying, a 5-pound bag of this seed or that seed on Amazon. I remember when I thought it was a big deal that I bought 25-pound bags, and I was mixing the recipe and making batch after batch after batch myself to figure out how I was going to scale this. Then once I got together with our baker, I started buying cases from wholesalers. I would go online and find wholesale ingredient suppliers who would still sell me a case at a time, which was 50 pounds per ingredient at a time, which was a big deal. Then I'll never forget putting together my first mixed pallet of ingredients. So I was buying enough to bring in a whole pallet on a truck instead of just on parcel post. And I thought that was so exciting. Then I started buying individual pallets of each individual ingredient that we buy. And now I'm buying truckloads and storing them at a cold storage and buying 6 to 9 months worth and putting them on contract and buying truckloads of the seeds and also the packaging. I went from buying the first 10,000, which is such a big deal. I was afraid to do it. And now I'm buying 250,000 bags at a time because the product itself has just driven this bus.
That's amazing. And where can I buy Ella's Flats?
Well, depending on where you are, the great news is that we are now at this minute as we speak launching into Whole Foods nationally. So every single Whole Foods in the country will have our product. Takes time to roll out. And so over the next month, 6 weeks, I expect to be on every shelf. We're sort of halfway there now. So that's the most convenient way and also a very economical way. Their pricing is very good for us. Then if you're in Florida, we're on the Publix local shelves. We're in many, many independents. We're in many independents in the Middle Atlantic. We're in Wegmans. We're in Central Market in Texas. And then in California, we're in the gold standard Erewhon and Bristol Farms Gelson's. And in San Francisco, we're in Molly Stone's and all the great stores up in San Francisco. We're really in stores across the country, which you can find on our locations page on our website. And then, of course, we're on Amazon. Well, I don't say of course. We are luckily on Amazon.
So, I mean, the way you're talking about this, we're in these stores, but what was the work to get shelf space in a Whole Foods? I mean, what you've accomplished is enormous, and you've done it with a very small team, correct?
Yes.
And I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about the work that you've done, but just talk a little bit about the challenges of getting a store like a Whole Foods or a smaller specialty store to even give you the shelf space to sell the product. How do you do that?
That is the right question. It's sort of a little bit different for each kind of retailer. So let's just say retailers, when it comes to large chains, we had early wins where the buyers, what they would call the category manager or the buyer of that cracker category in that chain would either meet me at a food show which was what was happening early on. It's what actually, and then of course you have the chicken and the egg challenge of getting into the distributor, but you need the customer, who is the retailer, to bring you into the distributor. So that's a really chicken and egg situation. We were blessed to have a couple of customers anchor us, that's what it's called, anchor us into the big distributor, the big natural food distributors, because the product sells itself. And I drag people out of the aisle at the food shows and give them a tasting of the product. And I get, very just great reactions to that. So the beginning of it was those first anchor chains, which I could name, who brought us in, got us into the distributors. That led then to getting into a broker network of having brokers who are our sales team, who have those relationships with those buyers in their particular city, region, town, where those buyers expect to see that broker with new products that they're representing every month. So as we would find the right broker in each region, and we're blessed with fabulous brokers, the broker goes and shows that product and helps us with that process of submitting to that category manager. Some you can submit to all day long. So when you're talking about those smaller independent specialty stores, the broker can submit every time they go visit. When it goes to Whole Foods or the larger chains, several of which we've now gotten some other great yeses, like for instance, Mom's Organic in the Mid-Atlantic, Rayleigh's in Northern California, they are on very strict annual category review schedules. So when it comes time for their category review, the broker knows that. We put together a presentation. Each one has their own very specific requirements, and we present to them. We send samples. We hope that they ask for samples. And then we go through a process. They go through their category review. They're looking at their shelf set. Okay, here's my cracker set. How am I going to make the most turnover and the most return on my investment on my cracker set in my grocery store? That's my job as the buyer. And so they evaluate our sales, our success, the product itself, what differentiates us. And we are quite differentiated, and hopefully give us the go ahead. It generally takes several pings, I will say, with a given chain. They don't usually take you the first time, although several of the top chains have taken us immediately when we submitted, because they see we're trending right on the front end of the natural food cracker category. Clean, simple, protein, fiber, and more importantly, taste and experience.
So when I go and pull the package off the shelf, who knew all that went into it, just getting the product on the shelf?
And customers email me all the time. Oh, you need to be in this or that. I need you to be here or there. Why aren't you in this store or that store? I'm like, if you had any idea how hard it is. And then, of course, it's very expensive. Different chains have different placement fees, and it's very, very expensive.
Were there any points along the way where you encountered some issue that you felt like not sure it's worth going on? And how did you get beyond that?
So that's a great question. And I will tell you honestly, from the very beginning, the important piece to that is, from the very beginning, I would not have gone into this if the product itself were not so differentiated from our competitors. I wasn't trying to come out with just another this or just another that. This product, and that's what I mean by saying this product drives the bus. The product itself is so good and so different. You wouldn't think to eat any of our competing brands for breakfast or instead of bread. And we deliver the most protein per serving on the shelf. And we have no fillers, as I've mentioned. And we have the most amazing taste and texture. Number one was that differentiation. And then answering your question, I would say to my husband, okay, are we really doing this? We don't know where this is going to take us. And he would say, yes, this product is so good and you are the person to nurture it. And it has to happen. It just has to happen. And that means me leaving him, going to food shows across the country, working 24/7. But we as a family are so passionate about it. I can't tell you that we have ever thought, oh, we have to stop. It's just too good. And I'm not cavalier, so I'm always watching for potential problems. And certainly we have problems cropping up here and there. But hopefully, we're very driven. And then we've added our kids and daughter-in-law are working with me every day. And so it's just a joy.
That's wonderful.
It's hard. It's difficult. Doesn't mean it isn't difficult. but it's a joy.
You are so passionate about the product, and but your energy is incredible, and your tenacity, it's just a very inspiring story. I'm gonna ask you a personal question because I find this so fascinating. How old were you when you started this company?
I'm 58 years old when I started. I'm 65 now. I had my third grandson today.
Oh,
I
congratulations.
thank you. I'm so excited about it. My daughter-in-law, who is my CMO, and was very experienced in that before she met my son, just had my third grandson, and my daughter, who's my COO, has my first two grandsons. So it's very exciting.
No one would believe that you're 65
Well, that's very kind.
in
That's
100
because I
years.
eat Ella's flats every day.
There you go. There's a testament.
Exactly.
That's wonderful.
And another thing, Jenny, that I thought it would be fun to talk about if you wanted to, given how amazing you are and where you come from, is the technological side of it all.
I was gonna ask you, so what technology are you using in the company?
So this is kind of crazy. I've always loved technology. I think I told you I owned the first digital camera, which was an Apple camera back. This was literally 1993. And I know that because I did my son's first birthday invitation on it, which it could take 6 pictures. And you could hook the pictures up to your great, big, huge desktop computer and print them out. So I've always loved technology. I love numbers. I love math. That's just how I've always been. So I basically started this whole thing on my laptop with my telephone. So using Google Drive, I had to learn how to use Excel sheets. I had no idea. I love Excel and
Mhm.
messing around in there. Now I'm better at it in my way. So I have cobbled together Google Sheets that are shared with the bakery, Excel sheets that are shared with the bakery, and then various platforms that handle inventory, which are connected to QuickBooks, and then additional platforms that handle shipping, platforms that handle the food safety tracking, because we have to batch lot track every morsel that comes in and where it went because we're a food. So the food safety. And now recently we've gotten new platforms to come along. And mostly these people are reaching out to us. They're finding us somehow where we can get our PR done on a platform. We can do our influencer marketing on
Mhm.
platforms. We can do our various production types of items on platforms. Our shipping, when it comes to creating these truckload shipments or less than truckload shipments, I use 4 different platforms for freight, incoming freight and outgoing freight. So it's crazy, but I've been able to cobble together all these different platforms to run the business. I can do it from anywhere. I can share it with whomever it needs to be shared with. We can meet on Zoom like this.
Mhm.
And I think really importantly, yes, there are platforms that are extremely expensive, these huge things that would be way too expensive for us. But we've been able to cobble together really great platforms that are out there. But another important one I wanted to mention that I had not mentioned to you when we spoke. One of the earliest ones that was been the most important for us is she was running on a Facebook group. There's this wonderful woman named Allie Ball who created this program called Retail Ready. She used to be the buyer at a great big store in the Northern California. And she has taken her talents and turned it into creating a group of growing small CPG companies like ourselves in the food space. And she forced us to do it on Facebook years ago,
Oh.
which was difficult. I couldn't figure out how to do it, but I had to learn. And she said, you have to learn. You have to learn this. And not only did I then learn how to use the platform, but that's where I found some of my most important platforms that I'm telling you about for food safety, for inventory management, was through that cohort of people. We were
Right.
able to ask each other, well, do you have something for this? Do you have something for that? So that networking and I wasn't having to do it in a vacuum.
It's wonderful. And it really is today we live in a world where there's so many software platforms that you can just subscribe to. You don't have to do these huge implementations. And it allows you to be lean and mean
Yeah.
as long as you're savvy enough to connect the pieces together. At some point, you might need to, go to a more integrated platform, but to be cost effective and stay profitable, the way you're doing it is just the right way.
It's so far so good. So far.
That's
And
wonderful.
now I'm even learning how to sort of talk with AI. We have a customer service platform
Mhm.
additionally. And, my girls know how to use AI and they'll use it to do things on the website, et cetera. And that's a whole nother challenge for me that I will conquer.
You'll conquer it. I know
Yeah,
you will.
I
I
will.
know you will. So what advice would you give someone at any point in their age if they wanted to start a company?
I would say to make sure that the product or service has a driving force with it. That driving force might be the product itself. Is it differentiated? Is it so good, different, better, fills a need? Find a need, fill that need that where there's a gap, where there's a frustration that no one can find it. So I'd start with what is the product or service and can you define it? And can you say why it's different, why it's better, why it needs to be made? And then find what drives it. Is it price? Is it the people, your connections? Is it the product itself, as it is in our case? Is it your ability to promote the product, that you're such a
Mhm.
great promoter and have such access to promotion that that's what it is? Is it place? Is it a place that where it's so needed? Know why that product or that service is worth your energy, because boy, oh boy, it's going to take a lot of
It's
energy.
gonna take it. It's gonna take it. Well, Ellen, this has been wonderful. Your story is so inspirational. You are inspirational,
Thank
and
you.
I so appreciate you telling us about your journey, and I wish you all the best luck. You don't need luck because
Well, I
you've
need
got it
luck.
going on, with Ellis Flats, and your website is ellisflats.com,
ellisflats.com. Yep,
okay? Everybody should go buy
absolutely.
them,
Please,
and,
please visit us.
they'll be loyal customers. Thank
Well,
you so
visit us
much.
on Instagram, Ella's Flats and ellisflats.com. And Jenny, it's just fabulous getting to know you. And that's been really one of the joys of this journey is the wonderful people who are now in my network, including yourself.
All the best to you, Ellen.
Thank you.
Thank you.